Alright, hello and welcome back everyone here into Game 2, the Grand Finals of the Dota Trash Destruction Tournament. It is a best of 3 between Union Gaming and Osiris Gaming. I'm Helium, and with me again is, of course, Vic Romand.
Good to be back, Helium. Osiris Gaming. I don't know, man. They're on the brink. Union has taken them 1-0 with a push strat combined with an aura-based pushing strat, and just going all in on Necros. And cheesy though it may be, it's gotten them to within one of winning the inaugural Dota Trash event, so well-deserved if they do get it, but both teams have beaten a lot of very good teams to get here, so we'll have to see what happens game 2.
Yeah, they've undoubtedly got the potential to win over there on the side of Osiris Gaming. So far we've seen them pull out some very dominant performances, then we've seen them pull out some lackluster performances, so we'll see what we're going to get. Hopefully it's a great performance by Osiris to take this into a Game 3 as we look into the bans. There will be no Lycan. It's going to get that respect ban that it may or may not deserve.
Oh, yeah, I think Lycan's well worth banning first. Like, the hero's pretty ridiculous, actually. I think he's an okay first ban. A-okay even.
Remaining.
Yeah. His laning can still be pretty awkward, but he seems to be making up for it by just pushing quickly. Hal is very good.
He's not great in
gets
lane,
banned out.
but like so are a lot of the thing about Lycan now too is that so many people run supports that aren't like super aggressive in lane, like Disruptor and Rubik and stuff, that you can get away with the Lycan because you're not going to get hyper pressured.
Even the AA isn't too aggressive in lane, especially when there's no stuns.
Yeah,
you can of course be attacked by Chilling Touch, but if you can't stun anybody,
right. Lycan can just sometimes walk away. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good ban. I think all these bans are logical.
Wow, is this actually going to be one of the first Visage picks of the day here by
Saw a
Union
couple.
Gaming?
I think we saw a few here. I mean, Nayrok played it in a game. That's true that it did skate by sometimes, but it's a very high rank hero. Not at all surprising to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. One of my favorite heroes, probably third or fourth. I do love those micro-intensive supports, Chen, Enchantress, Visage, and then I probably have Venge in there for no reason, really.
10 seconds remaining.
But that's me, so always happy to see the Visage. Now we look at Osiris. They will go with the Ancient Apparition, and looking for their second pick.
Yep, ancient but hardly frail, pretty standard. I mean, the pick is very highly regarded right now. The hero is pretty ridiculous, honestly. Especially once it gets Aghanims. If you're ahead and you get Aghanims on Ancient Apparition, it becomes pretty damn hard to actually lose. It's always fun to be on a hero with whom it's pretty hard to lose.
Well, yeah, I mean, once you get to that point, maybe 30, 40 minutes into the game, you pick up that Aghs, it can be very strong. If you get any earlier than 30 minutes, you've probably won the game, and I think another support that's kind of in that boat is Disruptor. Aghs Disruptor is ridiculous.
It is, but I feel that it's actually not as purely dominant as the Aghs AA, because Aghs AA just, you don't even need to position, right? Like, you just need to shoot out the ult every 30 seconds and just completely stop the other team from doing anything. Luna, here's a pick that we've only seen, I think, once today as well. The hero was very, very popular for a while, like the carry choice. But as teams have rediscovered some of the harder agi carries, and also as we've seen the rise of people like Lycan, Luna's, while still strong, is no longer like the only choice.
10 seconds.
Yeah, indeed. We saw her played earlier. Was it Osiris that picked it up? I'm having trouble remembering because all of the games have sort of blurred together, and we've done a lot of these teams twice already.
But I don't exactly remember.
Yeah, we're not going to remember, so we've seen it once, and it did very, very well. It wasn't even in the fights. It was the team that picks.
Oh,
Axe,
it was Revenge against Snot.
Revenge. Yeah, versus Snot +4. They played it very, very well, but we saw that the Luna just started falling behind. Gyrocopter managed to pull ahead and win those team fights for them.
It was also that Luna can certainly be locked down before she pops BKB and then just falls over. And we saw that again and again. That time they used a Rasta. They used a Shadow Shaman to blink in and then always hex her before she could BKB, and she died a couple of times early in fights. And that's something that they'll be on the lookout for. She definitely is a hero that can get bursted down before she's able to pop BKB. And also a hero for whom BKB is not optional. You always know that Luna is going to go pretty much straight for BKB, either before or after the Helm of the Dominator.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Rasta. It's actually among one of the heroes we've seen most frequently today, so I wonder if it gets picked up here by either Union Gaming or Osiris.
Shadow Shaman's a pretty amazing hero. His professional win rate is very high in this patch. I don't know what the exact figure is because I haven't been paying attention for the past week or so, but it's very high.
Yeah, it's been getting picked up quite often in the games that I've been covering at this sort of level of play. I've seen it sparingly at the top tier 1 pro teams, but I think they've also been messing with it a little bit.
Yeah, they have. I mean, he's pretty frequently picked, not as frequently as some other supports, but speaking of which,
Dire team pick.
no, I mean the hero has a lot of upside to him. He's not ubiquitous, but he's popular enough in professional top tier games, and he's very, very strong. He pushes, he CCs, he does damage. What else could you ask for?
Not much more.
Yeah, he's got a 63.4% win rate in professional games, and he's been picked 164 times this patch. Holy crap, 63 is insane. Just for context, there is only one hero with a better win rate that's been picked more than like 2 times. You know who it is?
I kind of want to say Lycan.
Yep! 68%. Please nerf Lycan, for the love of God. Anyway, yeah, Rust is really good.
I would agree. He's also fun to watch. I mean, he's just a showstopper. He's got the big lightning bolt, big damage. He can get the ward trap, which is always fun to watch. You can just phase through it if you have phase boots. And then he's got so many disables, the Hex, as well as the Shackles. Great fun to watch him, especially in a farming role. But we do see a Rubik picked up, and, well, it didn't really make a ton of sense. It's still a good hero. It goes well with Visage, but now he's got that RP to steal Serpent Wards and an Eclipse to potentially steal.
Wow, yeah, Rubik could have a great game this game if he's in the right place at the right time and manages to... I mean, the thing about Rubik is getting those great steals is really, really, really execution dependent. And even the best Rubiks in the world sometimes strike out. And if Rubik can't get good spell steals, the hero is completely useless. Like, he just doesn't do anything other than that.
10
like,
seconds remaining.
There was a game that IG won where Tron was playing Rubik, and Tron is the Rubik. I mean, he's on the short list of the 2 to 3 best Rubik players in the world. Him, Kuroki, FY, and he didn't get anything. The entire game, the Rubik had essentially no impact. It was just the rest of the team doing really well.
Chuan, he'll steal your spells and your food.
That's mean.
I had to. Chuan's the man, though, let's be real.
He's like the nicest, most humble, but also hilarious and awesome dude. He's great.
But yeah, Dragonite has been picked up. They really love this guy in South American Dota.
Yep.
Cideral plays him fantastically, Smash plays him well, and ADR for Swag and Tiger, which is now CNB Esports, plays the Dragonite incredible. So I'm excited to see that. It should just be in the mid lane here, pretty standard, a bit of a throwback, but still definitely a very capable hero.
He pushes. He's got a CC. He does damage. What more can you want, right? Like, the hero is... It's impossible for this hero to be, like, bad. Like... Now that he has the ranged stun, like, before the ranged stun, yeah, it was definitely possible for there to be situations in which you just really don't want him, but he doesn't lose lanes. Like, he's a pretty solid hero, he returns farm well, and he pushes. Like, he's just... The buffs have made him to the point where even, like, a minor numbers tweak, he'd still be pretty good. So I think he's a fine pick here. And if he can stun Luna, like, if he goes Shadowblade and just catches Luna out before VKB, I know I keep bringing this up, but... They can absolutely just take her down. Luckily, Osiris now has lots of other sources of damage.
They do. They pick up that Timbersaw, going to be a big damage source, especially if they land a multiple-person RP, layer the Chakram on top of that. Timbersaw and a Magnus will obliterate people. Also, Luna can farm stacks way earlier and do more damage in team fights earlier with the Empower from Magnus. It's going to help out a lot. As I like that you mentioned the Shadowblade for Dragonite. Probably one of the few people who is really building the Shadowblade as still a core item. And that item being nerfed is maybe one of the reasons we see Dragonite a little bit less.
Yeah, the nerf did hurt for sure. He's still very pickable, but I completely agree. He synchronized with the overpowered Shadowblade very, 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 very well. When you pick him, I think it's still usually pretty good to get it. Oh, wow.
What?
Huh.
I just yelled.
I don't love this, actually.
What's wrong with you?
No, I mean...
It doesn't matter if it makes sense. It's
fine,
Tusk.
Fine. You make a strong point. But what does he do in this lineup, I guess is my
Snowballs.
Question. Into reverse polarity.
A snowball.
Into reverse polarity.
Yeah, we'll see. The ward, the sigil should be pretty good with slowing down the Luna earlier.
Yeah, although it doesn't do anything against Timbersaw, right? So, like...
Yeah, that is also a good point.
I don't like this very much.
Do they take it aggressive, you think, with the Visage as well as the Rubik?
Probably. Possibly. It's still scary against Shadow Shamanation app Luna, but yeah, they could. I think that's
The thing
fairly
is,
likely.
though, which I think I figured it all out.
All right.
If you snowball onto the Ancient Apparition and he can't get off a Chilling Touch, like, he's gonna die every single time.
I guess so, but he can just
You
press
really
R
should
twice
prepare
really
for
fast,
battle.
and he still hits you with.
Well,
the
I'm
blade.
talking about in lane. He's not gonna have his
Oh
ultimate.
yeah, it could happen. If they win lane really hard, I see this working. If they don't, it could be a friggin' mess. Like Visage and Rubik, as far as supports, are not ones that you want to push farther into the fight than they want to be. They want to sit back, especially Visage wants to sit
Yeah,
back
that's very
as far
true.
back as possible and machine gun people down. He does not want, need, or cannot be in the thick of the fray. And so Tusk is going to have to be very careful about who he snowballs into fights.
Yeah, which brings up a good point of Visage not really being the best mech carrier, despite picking up that item a lot. In recent times, we see pretty much Visage never picking up the mechanisms anymore, just going Medallion, Boots, Ags.
He needs the mana to spam. And also, I think he's a fine mech carrier as such, but it's just more that these days you have your core heroes take mechanism a lot because they can get it quicker. And fights come so quickly that usually your supports don't have time to get the mechanism by the time that you want or need it. So that's why, I think that's really why you see a lot of core heroes picking up mech. Speaking of which, Osiris doesn't really have a natural mech carrier at all. It might actually end up being Timbersaw. If I'm Osiris, I actually tell Timbersaw to make the mech this game.
Or at least an urn to
Yeah.
keep some healing and pushing alive
Yeah.
after the team fights. But of course, it's still
Well, you need mech.
really not a perfect substitute for a mech.
If they don't get mech, Luna will die in every fight before Big Gibby. Straight up, like, Tusk will just kill her. You need mech to balance out the Tusk damage at least.
God, I hope Tusk does well this game. It's going to be awesome.
I think Tusk's alright. We've seen some successful games with it. I know Alliance have experimented with the hero. The Retry plays it a lot, if you think the Retry are good.
They're a team that I haven't really had the opportunity to cast, but they seem like a pretty good Tier 2, Tier 3 team from Europe that, you know, can surprise you and take games
They can
off the
definitely
bigger teams.
do that. Absolutely, they can suppress.
Kind of like Hee United. I
Hee-Hee,
bumped them in
yeah.
the same category.
Retry are a little better than Hee, but yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Alright, I used to like Rasta until he kept spamming the minimap.
You've grown.
Richard played a really good Sand King that last game.
Yeah, except there was a weird decision, and you don't necessarily need to put this on Senking because it was whoever the hell the shot caller is, but like the decision to put Senking mid and try to get a scum a level while Doom jungled, I didn't love that because it meant that they gave up first blood in the aggressive trial lane, and that really like set them behind right from the laning stage. But I don't know if that was his decision, like personally, or if it was their shot caller or their captain being like, "Oh, why don't you go mid?"
Could have been the shot caller as well. Usually when we cast Union Gaming, we get those pauses, and well, same story today. But they make up for it by having really fun Dota to watch. Very aggressive team, as we saw. They like to be aggressive, and they like to just, you know, systematically take those objectives off the map. And a lot of times, if they're forced out of that playstyle or just aren't playing that way for some reason, you see them struggle and drop some games. But here they are in the finals. One game they've already won, and they can win it here for $300.
Yeah, I mean, they're only one game away, as you put it out, and they've got a pretty good lineup here. I am very intrigued by the Tusk pick. We'll have to keep seeing if Ewo is able to make that work, but it will be a 3v3 lane. It's going to be Ewo playing under the name Angra on the Tusk. He's supported by Nova on the Rubik and who is that? Jericho on the Visage. In the middle, it will be Null, which is Citadel on the Dragon Knight, and on the top solo safe, it's going to be Angel on the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, and he does like his Nature's Prophet. He plays it a lot. It's going to be Guanzo, though, once again on his Timbersaw, which went out of control in the series prior to this one. Classic in the mid lane on the Magnus. Going to be going up against the Dragon Knight. We'll see how well he can do. Should be a good lane for both of them. In the bottom lane, it's going to be Richard who takes an... What is that called? I'm going to have to refresh my memory. He takes an Ice Shards to the face. Will live. Pat Soul carrying up here on the Luna. And Will playing this Ancient Apparition for about the 100th time.
Yeah, I don't know. Patzel, this is a pretty scary lane. I could go really either way in this 3v3 matchup. Rubik's relatively weak in the... Oh, here we go.
Yeah, Will's going to get lifted up. He does get off the Chilling Touch. Can they kill him? The Soul Assumption, that will be the first blood. Looks like they will be able to turn it around on Richard, though. I think they're going to get Ewo. They will not. Pat's Soul might even fall as well. And this could be the start of a very dangerous Tuskar. They get 3 kills early in this lane. The Chilling Touch is not enough to dig him back to getting any kills.
Yeah, well, only 2 people hitting, including Shadow Shaman has very slow auto attack animation, like 1.5 seconds for each attack. So he only got like 2 or 3 auto attacks off. Plus, he's only level 1. So it's actually amazing timing from Union Gaming. They realized, hey, like, our level 1, like, when everybody's level 1, we crush them because Rasta, like, Shadow Shaman has the choice. Either he shackles, and then they have no damage, or he auto attacks, and then they have no spells. So, and Luna has no spells at level 1 either, obviously, because she always takes Lunar Blessing. So, I think they're being very smart in terms of applying a lot of pressure extremely early while they have spells and Osiris don't.
Oh, Classic was going for, dare I say, a classic play of pushing Dragonite up here onto the cliff, forcing out a TP with that skewer, but it was a little too short, and prior to that, Cideral did pick up that double damage rune.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep watching this bottom lane, of course, because it's very important for Osiris to now try to get some stability here. In the mid lane, I don't really expect anything to happen. I mean, if there's a 1 last hit difference, and really there's no way for either Dragonite or Magnus to kill each other unless 2 people rotate over. I don't think either team will even bother. So the only interesting lanes are the bottom and top lanes, because Timber can definitely kill Nature's Prophet if Nature's Prophet lets himself get low.
They just ring around the trees for like 10 minutes, chasing each other around. Wow, Tusk in the bottom lane picking up another kill as I look at literally nothing. Very nicely done. Tusk killing that Shadow Shaman. It's going to be 4 kills here early for Union Gaming.
Yeah, the Union, they know that as long as their laning phase is good, I feel like I said this already, but just to repeat myself, like, if they crush laning, there's just no way Osiris gets back in, because if Luna can't hit BKB, it's really just not going to happen at all for them. Timbercell's going to have an even more godlike performance than he had last time to even close to pull them back.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Guanzo, right? He was like 12-2 on Timbersaw?
Yeah, he had a pretty crazy record.
That was the 3rd game of the other best of 3. It was Osiris versus Dignitas, I believe.
Yes, against Dignitas, Nerok, and a bunch of other folks. Risk.
My memory serves me well. Yeah, Risk Dota. Very good player. I guess just bring up Risk Dota's Slark again from LAN ETS.
Yeah, LAN ETS was definitely an interesting tournament, but a lot more one-sided games than we've had in Dota Trash.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a big skill discrepancy between some of the teams, whereas here in the Dota Trash tournament, everyone has been pretty equal, which is almost sad that a lot of them were best of ones, because a lot of good teams fell out of this tournament early on. And
yeah, I mean, they wanted a one-day tournament. I think it's cool to have a tournament that's just over and done in one day, and you can always just run a bunch more in the future to see how it shakes out. I think it's cool. I think it's a nice little lanyap of a tournament.
Yeah, it is definitely nice, and a pretty substantial amount of money on the line for that one-day tournament.
Yeah, for one day? Yeah, why the hell not?
500 overall. I believe the split is 300 like 200, and then...
It's 125 and then 75.
Alright, yeah. Seems like a pretty fair amount. That's the general split, like 50, without doing math, 50,
and it also,
30, 20.
The nice thing about it is it makes the 3rd place game worth something, because the 4th place gets nothing.
Yeah, and speaking of that 3rd place game, it is currently being played twitch.tv/PlaySivo1. Gorgon is casting that without any notice, so a big shout out to him for covering that game, and hopefully,
what a mensch.
If these games desync, you know, there's a delay in one while the other's going on, make sure to check them both out.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, as we progress, you see, they don't have this blocked, so you are probably going to see Will look to stack. No, he's just going to pull, so they're going to do the double pull. The plus side is they'll know exactly when this is happening. So Union, you could see these 2 supports, and maybe even Tusk make an incursion over here and disrupt the pull. Now, Osiris will see that, though.
The downside is that Will can be targeted by the snowball over the tree line, or they can just run straight at them because this lane has been so dominant already.
Oh, they might.
Contesting the pulls. They're just going to go kill Richard under the tower. Early point in the sigil. They're going to try to focus it down. Look at Richard. He can't even attack. He literally can't attack. And now someone coming in that doesn't need to attack, it's Guanzo, but so far all the supports have already died. Now they're going to snowball over all the way onto Pat. They're trying to take off Guanzo on the backside of this. The Sigil still doing work. Nature's Prophet destroying the trees as they continue to dive here. They want to find Guanzo. He's level 6. That Timber Chain doesn't hit anything. They're going to continue to chase Pat, and they will get him. Nicely done. I hear a Shackle out here. Onto something. Guanzo lifted, thrown back down. Now here is the Dragonite. He will be stunned. Guanzo is going to fall. It's 8-1 now. The only person to die here for Unit Gaming was that Visage.
Oh, they did kill Visage, you're right. I didn't even notice that. Still, this is dominant performance. Magnus is here. He doesn't have the mana to RP. Even after... Uh-oh, he's going to have to 1 just for the RP mana. And the RP won't do no damage.
Yeah, it only does 50 damage. A big debuff here, a nerf rather, to the Magnus. Ah, Ewo's going to go down to the tower, but they do get the deny. Magnus will get the deny. A big two-man Sprout. I don't know if there's a lot of follow-up on side of that. Visage is back into this fight, by the way. He's going to kill Richard. This team fight has continued absolutely forever. Skewering away, but he brings Jericho with him. Jericho throws out another Soul Assumption, but over to Dragonite, back onto Will. Will is going to take yet another fall. 10-2 here. One more Soul Assumption, but there's no mana from Jericho. The Chakram comes in, and that will be the kill, but they lift up Guanzo, and they're looking for more. Actually, wow, Nova throws him further away, and they need to retreat here.
Well, that was the right decision, because they didn't have the mana to kill Timbersaw. Auto attacks from Nature's Prophet are still pretty feeble. Obviously, Rubik, they're also feeble. Just the Timbersaw stacks of reactive armor will be enough to keep him alive, and he can just turn around and probably kill at least the Rubik. So I think very smart overall from Union Gaming. Yeah, they take a couple of deaths, but they just hold down Osiris completely, prevent them from hitting any of their item marks, push Luna out of the lane. In fact, he's in mid now, and even though the tower was denied, they're still extending their map control and controlling the jungle, which is, against Luna, it's extremely important to take away her jungle if you can.
Yeah, Luna was just up in the top lane trying to get some CS, trying to get some levels, now coming back into the mid to be protected up once again by her supports, but so far 13 CS and 2 deaths. That's not a good way to start a game on anybody. It's looking at the scoreboard. It's 10-3. No one's farming a lot, but it doesn't really matter when one team is farming heroes and has taken a tower. They're going to go for Roche already, wow, because they know there's no ultimates beside an RP that does 50 damage right now to help contest this.
Yeah.
Still could be risky, though. They don't have that much Roach killing power.
Yeah, but, I mean, they have Medallion. That's all.
Medallion's out.
Like, the Sigil, if they... Yeah, I mean, they have the Sigil, too, to slow down Roche's reaction times.
Indeed they do. Here comes a contest. Guanzo being the first one there. Ice Shards, a big physical barrier. He gets blown up. His Timber Chain canceled by a stun. Wrath of Nature almost kills Richard. They're going to go back in now for the Roche. It's still got Treants taking it. The Sigil, of course, slowing down the attack speed like you mentioned. What rank is that, by the way? Just 1 point in it. So Ewo going with a very nice build. We saw the power of the Sigil in the lane. Rasta couldn't even auto-attack.
Yeah, it was insane. Like... I mean, it was just really, really good, especially against... here's the thing. Rasta had the Chilling Touch buff, but we don't talk about this, but Chilling Touch slows your attack too, right? So
yeah,
his attack speed was slowed 25 total by the fact that he had the Sigil and the Chilling Touch. So he basically, as you said, couldn't attack him. It's basically a free Roshan once they killed Timbersaw, and it was smart to use as much as they did on Timber, because without Timber, the other team doesn't have any damage. Luna's literally not even level 6.
Yep. Is actually level 5, has Boots 1 and a Bass. Gonna get some farm here by her tier 2 tower, where, to be honest, she isn't really safe anywhere on the map right now, but there's a lot going on in the mid lane, so she knows she's okay to be there, as Guanzo and them trying to repel the onslaught. Angel goes back up top, continues to farm, has phase. Bass looking to go in for that minus now, and it's only 9 minutes into this game.
Right, yeah, just looking at how well they're doing at 9 minutes. I mean, nobody's farming, certainly, because it's been just everybody fighting each other all the time, but all 3 cores and even Visage are just doing extremely well for Union Gaming. It's going to be Visage making the mech for them, as we were discussing that earlier.
Yeah, arguably still the best mech carrier for their team right now. It looks like
Prophet, really.
Tusk is going to be going for the phase drums into, you know, whatever else you want to go, Shadowblade, or to Crystallis, or a Deso, or anything, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, for sure. He can. There's a lot of different ways that Tusk can go. I don't know why they're going 2 drums.
Oh, he might feed a kill here, though.
It's too scary.
Okay, they're very, very scared of any other counter initiation.
Oh my god.
As Ewo's even going for this kill at the tier 2, he's got the Tusk Punch. He's going to get... The Walrus Punch takes out 1. Now he's going to be locked in place with the Cold Feet, but his team is coming to help him. Dominating now is Nova. That Shockwave doing a lot, but the Soul Assumption doing even more.
Wow,
Magnus cannot get away from it. He will go down, and this is Union Gaming just running over everybody. Double kill here for Jericho. They've popped up the Aegis, And that would explain why Tusk was playing so aggressive.
Right.
Forgot he had that Aegis.
Yeah, he gave 0 fucks, really. This lets them continue their...
Whoa.
Keeping Tusk here rather than making him leave the fight, he would have had to go all the way back to base and walk back just to keep participating. So it's better to use the Aegis when they can credibly threaten 2 more tier 2 towers just by the fact that he didn't leave. And that's going to be another Shed Shaman kill. Yeah. So that's a thing.
Yep.
That, by the way,
game.
is the change to the Walrus Punch responsible for some of these moves, because he doesn't have to wait until they're below 50% to do good damage with it.
I was not aware of that change, so that is good to know.
It crits above. It doesn't have extra damage below 50%. It just does max damage at all, no matter when you use it.
Nice, definitely something to get that hero played a little bit more. Nova's gonna die. He goes up a dominating streak, so that's 513 gold over to Guanzo. He's got mana boots, and we'll see what else he can get after that.
Yeah, I did not notice that Rubik had a dominating streak.
Yeah, I mean, it is, what, 16-4 right now? We look at the kills, we see Visage with 8 of them, Nova with 4 of them on the Rubik, 3 for Ewo on the Tusk, 2 for the Timbersaw, and Citadel, the champion, he's 007 right now.
He is 007, that's a good point. I don't love that they have 2 drums. I wish one of those drums was the best item in the game, Veil of Discord.
It is pretty good.
I mean,
and it's not even that expensive either.
Let's real talk for a second. It costs basically the same as drum. Why wouldn't one of those drums be a Veil? Like, they have so much magic damage. Nature's Prophet, Tusk, Dragon Knight, all these here, and of course Visage. Veil would be so good here, and it gives almost the same amount of stats. Guanzo's in trouble, by the way. I'm done ranting.
No, it's fine. I definitely agree. Nova actually steals the Chakram, and Timbersaw gets caught in the middle of trees with no cooldown, so he couldn't even get out of the trees he hates so much. Angle picking up another kill with the Walrus Punch. It looks like he will finally go down. They get him. Patzel, though, in a lot of trouble. The Sigil, very much still alive, slowing him up. He cannot get away. Jericho will live through all of this. He's got 8, 2, and 5 to his name right now. Medallion of Courage and the Mechanism is finished up here at 12 minutes. Looking at the gold graph, already a 10,000 gold lead.
I mean, yeah, it's 20-5, and in some 20-5 games, it's like, well, yeah, they're dominating in terms of kills, but they're not taking map objectives. They don't have map control, so the other team can still farm their carry. In this case, that's not true. I mean, Luna has never had a safe opportunity to farm. He has 3 deaths, and his own jungle is not safe. And they're just using the drums charges now to really pressure these last remaining outer towers. There's only 2 left, I think. Oh no, the mid tower is still up, so 2 left after this.
Yeah, and I guess it's just pretty funny. It's probably the way Tusk was
Nice to know.
designed. But when you think of snowballing heroes, well, Tusk, 1, he literally turns into a snowball, and 2, he's a very snowbally hero, and he's doing just that right now.
Yes, that is true. I mean, yeah, they have strong push. The fact is, they've kept these critical item benchmarks from happening, and that's really what matters. Luna is nowhere even not even starting to make BKB. And Magnus is still a long ways off from Blink, and those are the major things that they wanted to keep from happening, and successfully.
Yeah, and it looks like Ewo here on the Tusk is going to be going for a BKB. Maybe it's an S and Y. He just gets the Ogre Club first. I think both are okay options.
I think BKB's better here against
BKB
Timber.
Arguably better, but...
And Luna has no auto attack damage yet, so actually BKB makes you essentially invulnerable at this point.
Yeah, it really does, especially the 10-second charge this early. And well, if you're a Union Gaming, you don't plan on staying in this game for much longer. The opposite goes for Osiris. They needed to delay everything. They need to stop this push, and it looks like they're doing just that bottom. But they're having to do it in massive groups. If anyone splits off, they're going to die immediately.
This will really test Osiris's like metal and ability to sort of pull together a Gibson's, because they're way behind. They're only, if they lose this game, they are second place, not first. So we'll see what they have as far as defensive abilities.
Richard in trouble. Yep, Polar Punch going to bring him down immediately. Here comes an RP onto 4. Timbersaw still alive to do a lot of damage, but the mech keeps every single person alive. No one dies to the best combo that Osiris and crew has to offer. 23-5. Ewo with another double kill. The tier 2 tower will fall.
Amazingly
Roche
crucial
is not up
mech.
yet, but
That
they
mech.
can easily just...
Yeah, I mean that mech was amazing. And that's actually the problem with your Magnus being this under-leveled. He's only level 8, so it's only a 2.25 second stun. Like, RP level 1 is really nothing that impressive. It gains a lot of time when you hit it at level 11 and level 16. So they had the time to actually mech up. If Luna was there or Magnus was 11, that would be a different story.
Wow, this is a snowball into the base. I didn't really even comprehend what was happening right there. That's Ewo just giving his life away, and now without him, this team fight's going to be a lot harder for Union Gaming to take convincingly. Angel TP's out. Jericho's still going to get one, and they will kill Richard, so I take it back. Union Gaming trying to turn this around, looking to throw out the Eclipse, but dies just too much damage. And like you said, before that BKB, Luna will just fall. The GG comes out because even without Tusk, Union Gaming just runs them over, and while that is one of the most dominant games and one of the best Tusk performances I've seen.
Good work by Union Gaming. They took this Tusk pick and really understood what would make it work for them. We were talking in an earlier game, like, you have to think about, like, what do we have to do to win? Like, you don't want to just be like, oh, like, we want to do better than you usually do on this hero. It's like, if we pick Tusk, we have to have a very specific plan in mind. We're going to blow out the lane phase and use that to parlay into a quick push. And like you said, Union Gaming, that's exactly what they try to do. Win early and then immediately take map objectives. And in 2 straight games, they did exactly that. Good work to them. Well-deserved champions of Dota Trash Destruction 1, sponsored by NA Dota.
Yeah, I would say so. That's going to round up everything today. If I was a betting man, I would say that the bronze match is still going on. Again, check that out, twitch.tv/PlaySevo1. But as for the mainstream, we are all done here. Thanks for showing up, everybody. It looks like we got maybe over 500 viewers. We're at 473 as what I'm seeing. So shout out for everyone coming out to support this. And if you'd like to, make sure to follow myself on Twitter at HeliUmbrella or Vikramond.
And
at
if you
Vikramond.
And if you want tournaments like this with a lot of these players that you saw today and a lot of these teams, I think SECS every week, pretty good tournament. Check it out on the Dota 2 store.
Yeah, and the Thursday Evening Cup series as well. That's brought to you by Toffee's Dota, so another great caster. Make sure to check it out. And I think any final words, Vic?
No, I'm glad people watched this. A really fun little one-day shindig we had here, and thanks to the Jack Hack for organizing everything, setting it all up, getting us on board. And thanks to you, Helium. I had a lot of fun today.
Yeah, me too. And we'll see you guys next time.